knows? You know?
Or it was some kind of stupid rumor.
Yeah. And see, I also think that, like, I don't know the way you see the Appalachians.
Well, I think a lot of people perceive them as being drunks, lazy, dirty.
Louis, excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, let me ask you that again. How do people in Cincinnati perceive Appalachians?
Well, I kind of believe that Appalachians are perceived to be alcoholics, lazy, dirty, stupid. And I don't think that's at all true. I think Appalachians are intelligent, caring, close-knit people.
Do you have any idea how widespread this attitude is in Cincinnati?
No, I think I'm really not sure. I base my judgment on a few people that I've heard say such things, as well as my own son. My own son will tell you that's what an Appalachian is a hillbilly. And he describes it pretty much that way too.
And hillbilly is a bad expression, a bad thing?
Yes, because he perceives a hillbilly as being dirty, lazy, stupid, you know, all those things. I don't know why everybody perceives it. Alcoholics too. I think everybody looks on Appalachians, hillbillies, whatever you want to call them, as drunks.
What are the ways you can tell if somebody is an Appalachian or someone's a Cincinnati German or just a non-Appalachian?
Mostly, I think, the dialect. Because I asked a lot of people, or now again I'm leaning more towards my son, because he says hillbillies talk funny.
And what does he mean by that?
There's an accent that's carried among them. Some of their vocabulary is different.
Does he think you have that accent?
Not too much. A little bit, yes, but not too much. And I think he can't, I think he would hunt not to find that hillbilly accent in his mom anyway, because he wants no part of being hillbilly.
Do you think you have a hillbilly accent or an Appalachian accent?
A little bit. It's hard to get away from. He does too, but he never admit it. My son does, so.
Do you think that other people perceive your son to have that accent?
Yeah. There's a few people who's told me that he's got it.
So that sort of puts him in a pretty strange position if he thinks he doesn't have it and everybody else thinks he does.
Right. But I think one thing, I'm trying to educate my son on what Appalachian is, so we don't have all these prejudices. And I'm trying to learn really where he's getting his ideas. I know part of it is through school, because kids are not referred to as Appalachians, they are referred to as hillbillies. And I think maybe that might be part of where he's learning what he feels a hillbilly is. And I think I'm trying to educate him to Appalachian heritage in a more proper atmosphere so he can have the pride he should have in it.
Well, what about you? What did you make a journey of that sort to come to where you are now?
No, I think I kind of, at one time I think, because me mainly it was like Little Abner cartoons and that kind of made it, me perceive Appalachians as like that. And I just realized that I'm not like that. So no matter what the cartoons or that may have, I know I'm not like that. So I could be proud of who and what I am.
Did that pride extend to the way you talk?
Pretty much so, I think it does. I'm not real sure because I don't think you really hear yourself as much as you can hear other people.
But you must have had at some point, somebody must have pointed out to you something about the way you talk.
Yes, several times. I can't actually remember what. I can remember in school that my English teacher was forever telling me, you use improper English constantly. And I've been on job interviews where they look kind of funny at you when you start talking to them. And I really perceived a feeling that that's part of the reason why you don't get the job or part of the reason why you don't pass your English class. But I don't think there's anything, like I said, wrong with the way I talk, so I have a hard time understanding what they're talking about.
Did you ever try to change the way you talk?
Not a whole lot. Because my husband gets upset with me because I don't try and change it too much.
What does he think you should do?
Take some English classes and learn how to talk properly. But I don't think it'd help. I think it's bred into you. I guess, I don't know.
What is his idea of talking properly?
Well, my husband's sort of a perfectionist, and he did real well in English. So a lot of the things I say, yeah, they may not be in proper context. I may not use my adjectives and my verbs and all that in the proper sense, but I feel so I can carry on an intelligent conversation. That's all that counts.
Do you have any trouble speaking to your friends and neighbors who might be from Appalachia?
No.
So you can communicate fine with people.
Yeah.
Do you ever travel out of this area and find that the way you talk was noticed, or do you have any experiences outside of this area?
I went to Texas when I was married the first time, and all I kept hearing down there was, you talk funny, you talk funny. And I think you kind of adapt where you live, because if you live there for any amount of time, because when I came back to Cincinnati, then people kept telling me, you got a Texas drawl in the way you talk. And I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't hear the change myself, but everybody else was telling me both places. When I went down there, I talked funny to them. When I came back home, I talked funny to everybody here. And I thought that was kind of strange because it didn't seem to me like I could have been here long enough to pick up their whole way of talking.
Did you think they talked funny when you were in Texas?
Oh yeah, when I first got there, yes. It was different. I hadn't ever heard it before.
Yeah.
Not on an everyday basis anyway. You might have heard it in a movie somewhere, but not on a regular basis. So yeah, I thought they talked funny.
You told me about a story, well, you started to tell me a story
Okay, quite a few years ago, I went and applied for a job at Frisch's. And I know your appearance has a lot to do with it. I was a lot younger then. I was a lot thinner. And I really believed I should have gotten that job. My math ability was great. My math ability is still great. And I knew that everything should have been just perfect. And I made, I guess, maybe the most fatal sin that anyone could do by saying the word ain't. Because I could just see by that one word, the expression on this man's face turned, changed completely. And he said to me, after he'd already told me how well I was doing on the interview, just after this one word, which is pretty much a part of my vocabulary, I can't help it. For a word that's not in a dictionary, it gets used a whole lot. And it was right after this that he said to me, he says, well, I'm sorry, I don't think we need you right now. He said, because I'm not quite sure if you could express to our customers what we want expressed. And that's as far as he would elaborate on it. And that kind of upset me. Because I don't think that should have had all that much bearing on it.
Yeah, do you think that experience might have been repeated?
Oh yes, I'm quite sure it has been. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's ever made that type of mistake in a job interview. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that's ever lost a job for that reason.
Well, what do you think is the best way for somebody like your son, for example, who is born and is raised in Cincinnati now, and he obviously has ambitions and wants to get ahead, in terms of the way he talks? I mean, what would you advise him to do?
I would have to, I guess, kind of partially let him make that decision, but I would always encourage him to be what he is. If he enjoys the way he expresses himself, then I don't think, not that I'm not saying English isn't good, but I don't think that you should go against your own heritage and lose that. I really think it's a valuable quality to people. If we all weren't a little different, we'd be quite boring, I think. So I'm kind of glad I am.
Do you think it's possible to maintain your heritage and yet not maintain that accent, that Appalachian accent? Is that a big part of the heritage?
Yep. Yeah, it is. I think it is. Because I think it's part of Appalachian people. It's born and bred in them. I don't think there's really a strong way to get away from it.
We talked to somebody yesterday who grew up in Harlan County and came to Cincinnati when she was 4 and was, felt embarrassed because she had a real thick accent.
Evelyn. Evelyn Martin?
No, somebody else.
Ah.
And she's a teacher now, but you would never guess, I don't think, that she had any Appalachian in her at all. She's completely lost every trace of it.
I guess that is possible to do, but I think you really have to want to. And I don't really think I want to. So I think that might be part of my problem. Because I'm kind of the type of person that I want to be me. Whatever that me is, that's what I want to be. I don't want to pretend to be something I'm not. And this dialect's what holds me as being me. I guess I want to hang on to it. Now, some people can, I guess, might want to change, like my son. I mean, that's totally his decision.
Do you think it's possible to like keep some of the old way and also learn new ways and be able to switch back and forth? Do you think people can do that?
Not and relax and enjoy it, I don't think. Because I think you might get the roles screwed up at one point or another and really make an idiot out of yourself. I wouldn't want to try and do it myself.
Yeah. Anything else? No. Okay. That was very nice. It
All
relates to dialect, the way people talk, which you might want to share.
No, not really, right off. Born in Cincinnati, I spent 4 years in Pineville, Kentucky, and then I moved to Indiana, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and then I came back here. So essentially, I am a native of Cincinnati. My parents were both born in Kentucky. So I guess I'm just kind of transplanted, I don't know.
Okay.